I control the mode like I'm coaching. Pro stamps, you haters ain't got no chance. Trained so many champs throughout this whole camp. But you can't take a risk if you got no hands. Let's go. Cap to the back, then we all snap. Coach gave that call to this New York cat. Got my weight up, it's sometimes like a Snorlax. Had to answer that call back till we on, I don't hold back. I create the lane like I'm coaching. Stay ahead of the game like I'm coaching. Haters try to stop us, they got no chance. Go champ, got me feeling like coaching.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, you already know it's your boy Coach Anthony. I'm here with none other than your other boy, Bad Eddie Chambers. What's good, baby?
Not a thing, man. Just relaxing, enjoying this last few days off this weekend. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, man, tell me, so you know what? Let's talk about that, man, because a lot of people right now are out of work. A lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are lost right now. So give me like, all right. So let's just say you're working from your house or whatever.
Yeah.
Give me a day in the life, man. Like, how does Fast Eddie Chambers like to, how do you like to prepare your day? How do you like to schedule? Are you an organized person, or you are just the kind of person just gets up and goes? Like, how do you give me a day in the life of Eddie Chambers real quick?
Honestly, man, like on days like this where I'm not actually working, any 8 hour, a day job, I try to get up sometimes as early as possible. It all depends on what my day is as far as working out wise, because, everything's predicated around that. If I'm working out, like if it's a workout day, a lot of times I try to get in 2 a days, and everybody knows how much I love basketball, everybody who knows me. So I try to get some kind of cardio in based on that. And then in the, going toward after that, I'll probably do, my breakfast thing if I'm going to do breakfast, because I've been doing intermittent fasting too. So it's kind of like, here and there with that.
Yeah. I don't think you really understand what I mean. Like, what I mean is, give me a breakdown. You're still in your bed. You're wiping the crust out your eyes. Like, I want to know a day in the life of Eddie Chambers real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like put it this way, if it's me, like I said, on a day off like this, like I said, working out is my thing.
What time do you wake up? Like
me?
Let's get specific.
All right.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
If I like on most days, like when I feel comfortable, I would say 8 o'clock would be average around me, because normally I get up during the day. I mean, get up in the morning around, like, sometimes I gotta get up at 5 because I gotta be somewhere pretty early work wise. So normally, like now on days like this, I'll get up around 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Or 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. If I'm not sleep deprived, you know what I'm saying? So and then after that, I mean, most of the time I would I'm not gonna say I eat breakfast, because a lot of time, like I told you before, I was intermittent fasting, so I won't really mess with the breakfast too much. Not all the time. I mean, sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. So I'll probably go and do a workout. A lot of times, like when we had the gyms, I would probably go to the gym early. You know what I mean? Because I want to do 2 a days. And like I said, everybody knows, like, I love the basketball, so I'll do my cardio stuff in the morning with basketball.
So what would be your cardio stuff for basketball? Like, all right, you're going to the gym first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, right? So do you drink a coffee? Do you drink anything to get you going, to prep you up? Because you can drink black coffee on intermittent fasting.
Right. Nah. For me, it's just water. You know what I mean? I hit the water real quick early in the morning when I'm up. I try to at least get through a gallon a day, at least a gallon a day. Recently, I haven't been doing that well with it, but for the most part, it's a gallon a day. When I go into the gym, I'm thinking, like for basketball, when I was working with a couple of friends of mine who were basketball coaches, I would, set amount of shots, certain amount of spots I would hit. And while I'm doing it, I'm trying to do everything moving, because, like I said, this is all based on how do I put it? It's all based on cardio. So I'm not trying to take any breaks in between. You know what I'm saying? So like if I want to say I want to get up, I don't know, 100 shots, depending on what I have time for. Like on a day like this, I have as much time as I need. So I'll be trying to get something stupid like, maybe 500 if I can get that in, before the end of the day. And I'll try to do it all moving. Obviously, it's not possible. I don't want to say it's not possible. I mean, you're going to take breaks in between. So I'll try to do that, and it's constantly running, what be it from, mid range to the 3-point range, all kind of stuff like that. So I'll do all of that.
So you're trying to get 500. Well, you're trying to get 500 what?
Shots up. Like if I'm doing a basketball, I'm trying to get 500 shots, but I'm also getting cardio, and it's for, just everything is for, just staying in shape. So I'm constantly running. It's like if you go out and do a 3 to 5 mile run or whatever you might do boxing wise, You know what I'm saying? It's like you're constantly moving. So I'm thinking about that while I'm doing this. The only thing is with basketball is a lot of running, a lot of jumping, a lot of quick stops and starts. So it actually adds to it, and it's better and it's more fun and it's much more interesting than just going out and running. Like even if you run fast, 5 miles. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
So
All right. So you go to the gym. All right. So you wake up around 8, 9 in the morning. Let's just say 9 in the
on a
morning.
day like that, on a day like this, most
All right.
times.
Go to the gym. How many
mm,
hours are you spending at the gym shooting the hoops or whatever?
Shit, man. If I'm doing it, like sometimes that's the problem. Sometimes I don't know when to leave. But in the morning, when like I said, if I had to go to work or have to do something after that, I'd have to set a time. But most of the time, like if I'm gonna get up around this time and do it, I'm gonna be there for maybe 2 hours or so, and then I'll take and I'll get showered up and come on back home.
All right. So boom, you woke up, you went to the gym. Boom, you
hmm
went there around 10 o'clock. You're out of there.
hmm
Let's just say at 1 p.m. because I know you like to talk. So let's just say you leave there at
Yeah.
1 p.m. Now you got 1 p.m. to the rest of the day. Now what are you doing? What's the next
Yeah.
move?
Well, I'll go eat then. You know what I mean? At that point, I would be cutting the fast off and going ahead and eating. And everybody knows I'm a vegan, so I don't there's certain things I'm not eating. And I'm doing my best. But see, on these days is my cheat time. You know what I mean? On the weekends, so I can kind of just get away with just, almost eating anything, but I still don't eat any meat or anything like that.
Do you eat
Pause.
pizza? Do you eat pizza? Do you eat plain cheese?
No, 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 no cheese. No cheese. But if I do,
You
yeah, I
can't
do.
you
I
can't
do.
even you can't even eat cheese as a vegan?
Nah, 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 nah. Cheese is not
Oh
it's not
my
cool. Yeah,
God.
man. No
That's
animal
sad.
products, bro. No animal products, sir. You know
Oh man, I
what?
forgot that. You know what? I forgot that cheese is an animal product. Honestly,
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a weird thing too. It's like you get you grow up, you eat pizza, you eat chicken, you eat all those things, and it's like damn. Now all of a sudden you make this decision. You know what I mean? Based on health. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I love the animals, and I don't want to see them getting slaughtered for anything like this. But at the same time, it's like I'm making this for health decisions, for health reasons is really why I'm doing it. But it's like so now all of the things you ate as a kid growing up, it's like, man, I look forward to having, even sometimes the fast food, even though I wouldn't be messing with fast food, eat meat or not, pause. You know what I mean? But still, it's just like it was just there. It was always there. It's so simple. You go to the store, you go to the restaurant, all that food, you know what I mean? For the most part, is all predicated around the meat. So it's like I can't you know what I mean? For me, it's not as easy to find food. Although to me, like now that I've been, had some experience with the vegan thing, it's really not that hard. It's really
So
not
give
as
me, so give,
hard
so
as
give,
it
so give me
seems.
like, give me like your go-to lunch after a good workout in the morning.
And I know people going like, here we go. But see, for me, it's a salad because I try to stay away from in the morning. I try to stay away from unnecessary carbs. Like when I say unnecessary carbs, like during the week especially, I don't want to mess with too much of the bread, things that have no nutritional value. If I'm going to have carbs, it's going to be fruit. It's going to be something like that, some kind of vegetable, things like that that actually have something that I can get out of it. If I'm going to
So
have bread,
you're
if
trying to
I'm
get the best bang for your buck, basically.
right, right. If I'm gonna have bread, I'm gonna have Ezekiel bread, stuff like that. Bread that most people are like, well, what the heck is Ezekiel bread? Well, it's bread that's actually in the refrigerator. It's actually a living grain, so it has to be, cared for. You can't just leave it out for long periods. It'll go bad quick. So that's the kind of stuff I'll have if it's a bread. Other than that, I'm not messing with it. You know what I mean? It's pointless. I'm not gonna have white bread, or even wheat bread, because I found out how bad that could be for you. That's why I used to see all these people with these wheat allergies and things like that. So you know what I mean, and gluten, which is a derivative from wheat as well. So it's like you gotta be really careful nowadays what you put in your body, man. So much crazy stuff out here.
Right, right, right. Especially
Mhm.
now with this coronavirus, man. I think a lot of people are
Man,
getting health conscious, But honestly,
very.
with all the stay at home
hmm
rules, like for me, it hasn't done me well on a nutritional level. Honestly, I've been
Right.
really dialed in with my business
hmm
and a lot of learning. I've been doing a lot of self education, but my eating habits have gotten really bad in the
Yeah,
last
man.
2 months. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people are health conscious now because of the coronavirus, but at the same time, I think a lot of people are still making poor decisions. They're saying a
Of
lot of people
course.
become alcoholics, a lot of people are gaining
Yeah.
weight, a lot of people are depressed. And
Man.
how
Yo.
is it that how is it that how would you recommend somebody get out of that slump? Because you've been there before. See, what a lot of people don't realize about you is that you've been overweight and
hmm
you know what it's like to have temptations to eat bad and gain weight and not be happy with how you look with your shirt off and whatnot.
Oh. no doubt.
So yeah, so since you've been there before, like for somebody who's listening to this, starting off, somebody who let's just say fell off, or somebody who you know don't know where to get started, how would you recommend somebody get started just on a fitness level, not even boxing, just
Just
eating
fitness
better
wise.
and stuff like that? Somebody who drinks soda and eats chips but
Hmm.
wants to get better, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the first thing is that Rome wasn't built in a day. You know what I mean? Nobody became world level fighters in one night. So you can't expect yourself to make even a decision like stop eating everything bad in one day. It's not going to happen. In fact, most of the time people do things like that and go on them crash diets or them crazy diets real fast. They end up being worse the next time around. So the best thing to do is take one small piece out of this whole puzzle and then knock that off. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I haven't had a soda since I was 17 years old. And that's a long time. I'm 38 now. You know what I mean? I haven't had a soda and I don't even like it no more. I don't even look at it. It's just not even a viable option for me when I'm drinking stuff. It's just not. I don't even drink. I haven't drank juice and what I don't know. It's been years. I don't even want to count how many years now. It's obviously not as long as soda, but same. You know what I mean? To a degree, similar. So it's like you just got to take one little piece of it. You know what I mean? When you say, okay, well, I'll just exercise a little extra hard, and it's like, yeah, you can do that, but then you also get yourself to a point where it's like you can't get over the hump. Like you'll have this area of your body that's not going for some reason, and it's like, well, because diet is 80% of everything that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You want to get yourself in shape. You want your body to look right, but you're wondering why you can't get past this certain point. And it's like, because your diet's poor. Like me, I was coming up, I had a terrible diet coming up. I mean, even as a fighter, I had a terrible diet. I just didn't realize it at the time. I thought, oh, it's my genetics. No, when you eat the way I was eating, you're going to get those kind of results. Like I was training like a maniac. Like I was expecting to have a six pack and all of this stuff, but I wasn't eating for it. I wasn't like I was missing 80%. I was doing the 20%. I was doing the 20% so much that it was 25%. You understand what I'm saying? But I was still missing that 75% that I really needed, which is really 80, which I really needed to actually turn over to actually see the results. Not only just see the results, but even feel them too. Because I was still, at times I would feel kind of bad too. You know what I mean? Like you would feel good on some days, but bad on others. Then you're missing sleep, which is another huge thing. You know what I mean? And I still struggle with that. But it's like those things, all these little pieces of the puzzle, which actually turn out to be will actually turn out to be the whole thing, will cause you to miss parts. Like if you ever heard the saying about the weakest, like one link in the chain is broke or messed up or something, it just weakens the whole thing. I can't remember if that's
Right,
how it goes.
the weakest link,
Yeah, the weakest link. There you go. The weakest link in the chain caused the whole thing to collapse or whatever. So that's the same kind of thing. And most people don't understand how important diet is when you talk about exercise. When you're talking about your body and the way it looks and
well,
conditioning.
well,
Everybody's good.
no. I was gonna say it's crazy you say that because so many people don't understand how to eat. Even for the
Right,
people out there who might not want to be vegans, you don't need to
right.
be a vegan to
No,
get great results. Like
no.
I remember I used to run every day. Running was like my
Hmm.
drug. Even when I stopped boxing, I still kept the running habit. And I
Right.
remember I used to run and run and run, and I wasn't losing any weight.
Hmm.
And I was trying to figure out what it was until I learned about nutrition. And then once I
Hmm.
finally dialed in on my nutrition and learned how to count calories and learn how to, do stuff like that,
Right.
I realized like, a lot of people they'll go ahead and they'll do like a really good workout. They might go out there and run 3 miles. They might even
Hmm.
do some other stuff.
Hmm.
But then they'll go to Smoothie King and
Yep.
get a fruit smoothie protein, and they think that they're drinking a
Yep.
smoothie, but they're drinking nothing but sugar.
Sugar.
So let's just say they went ahead and they burned, I don't know, 500 calories in an hour.
Hmm.
They'll go back and they'll drink 850 calories.
Yep.
So you actually drank
300
300 more
more.
calories than what you should have drank. If you were trying to lose weight, you actually should have been eating less than what you just burned. You know what I mean? And a
Yeah.
lot of people get that. And they end up not losing weight even though they're working out. Maybe they're breaking even every week and they're
Yep.
just like, man, I got a thyroid issue. I hear that one all the time.
Oh Lord.
Or my metabolism is destroyed, and you hear that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a scientific study that proved that you cannot damage your metabolism to the point where it won't get fixed again. Damaged metabolism is more so of a way that people speak, but people take it too literally.
Uh-huh.
You can't permanently damage your metabolism. So really what it comes down to is calories in versus calories out, and
Mm-hmm.
people are just consuming too many calories and they don't realize it. You know what I mean?
Yep, and that was another thing too that I wanted to touch on a little bit is like people, and then you got the people who actually count the calories. You know what I mean? They really count the calories, which don't get me wrong, that works to a degree, but it just gets to be exhausting. You know what I'm saying? You start thinking so much about that and every little thing, and it gets to be exhausting for somebody like me. I'm thinking about, like you said, getting the best bang for your buck. So even if I'm putting a decent amount of calories in, I'm going to make sure they're the best calories possible. They're going to be they're going to be great quality. So therefore, if I put anything on, any weight that I put on or anything that I'm doing is not going to be terrible weight. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. Even if you eat good foods and you eat too much of it, you're still going to have some kind of, overload. You know what I'm saying? And your body's going to start to show the effects of that. But still, as long as you're not eating donuts and cookies, because that's another thing too. And we talked about this too. Like you can have this whole calorie and the macro thing, and you can do it. You can do it even the wrong way in a sense and still hit the macros properly. But it's just your health. The health will start to show the effects. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna start having issues with your body that you didn't have before. Not necessarily saying that, oh well, I got my macros right, so the proteins versus the carbs and the fats are good. But if you eating like, okay, well, I got the calories I got was from a cookie, and then I had a piece of chicken, and it was a fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's still like you want to put the best stuff in your body possible, no matter what the situation is, even if you are hitting your macros right.
Right, right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
And leading into that, and then now going from there, going into the next point that I want to talk about is conditioning.
Yeah.
And we just finished
Yeah.
doing a heavy bag conditioning drills. That's the name of
Yeah.
the digital download that you can get on my website, coachanthonyboxing.com. It's the heavy bag conditioning drills. And what I love about this one is, we actually, we use some of the drills that I do with my fighters that me and you do together, and some of the ones that you even used to do with your father back when you were coming up. So
Right.
people are actually going to, get a deep look into the history of, some of your conditioning ideas on the heavy bag. And what I tell people is like, the heavy bag is one of the best ways to condition a fighter because it's sport specific to what you're doing. If you're throwing punches in a fight, on a heavy bag you're throwing punches to condition yourself. And another point that I tell people also is a boxing match is similar to a marathon and a sprint in one. You got to have the endurance of a marathon athlete, endurance athlete, but you also have to be able to pick your heart rate up and basically sprint in a fight in little spots throughout the fight. When the fight gets intense, your body has to be able to do both. And you need to have a certain amount of speed and power for a guy to respect you. So there's so much that goes into the strength and conditioning aspect of it. And I think that we tackled that pretty well on that heavy bag drill. Actually, that's going to be value one because we got more to come. But talking about what you liked about
I
it.
loved every aspect that we put into it. In fact, man, I mean, this is one of the things I thought was going to be huge. You know what I mean? I think is going to be huge because it's.
Well, pause. Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. I gotta pause that, man. I didn't even. I was so excited about the whole thing that I forgot about the pausing. You know what I'm saying? My bad. But no, but the idea, man, this whole thing, because it really gives you an opportunity to see what fighters have to actually go through, and like, well, for example, what I went through. You know what I mean? Coming up with my dad and what we did early on. I'm pretty sure Ant gives them an insight on what you had to deal with as well, and it's just like. It really lets you say, and it's something you said in the video, is like you don't have to be a fighter or a professional fighter to train like one. And without a doubt, that is true. And if you see someone like myself who has been in this sport for close to 24, 25 years, still feeling it, doing things that I was doing when I was 15, it's really telling you, obviously, that's timeless. There's nothing that there's nothing about that that will ever become easy. Now, granted, over time, working hard and getting yourself into a good level of conditioning, of course, you'll get to a point where it's not necessarily easy, but it's doable, and you'll be able to do it a couple with other things on the same day. But when you first start out, and even when you get advanced, it's still going to be relevant to your workout. So, man, I mean, and it's just there's so much that you can get from it. You know, the way I'm hitting the bag and being able to go along with what I'm doing, it's just there's just so much that you can get. It's so beneficial. And if you want to get in shape, it's definitely going to do that for you. You won't necessarily need to go out and run 100% of the time when you have these types of things. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, you should always run until you find some other better option. You should always run. But these types of things cannot necessarily replace it, but it can definitely help it.
Right. Yeah, man. And you know, and that's the thing about boxing. I get that question all the time when people be like, "Hey, man, how do you get over the fear of getting hit, or how do you take a better punch?" And you know, honestly, man, you know, what I tell guys is like, you really can't learn that without going through it. You know, and it's the same thing with like you know, your first time getting punched in the face. I mean, you know, I remember the first time I got, you know, my ass whooped in a boxing gym. You know, one thing I don't think you could actually, I'm gonna rewind. I think you can even train. I think you can even teach heart. I think heart is teachable, but I think that some people have more heart to begin with than others, and a lot of that has to come with the upbringing of how you came up with, you know, came up outside of boxing. You know, what people don't realize about boxing is so spiritual, and there's so much to it that, you know, a lot of your upbringing, your environment, you know, all those things play a factor. So you got kids that come off the street like myself. I walked into a boxing gym, but I was also a kid who grew up in New York City. I was a kid who was around tough people on a regular basis. So when I walked into a boxing gym, I had a tough personality. I just didn't have the boxing skills. And I got my ass beat, but I took the whooping. You know what I mean? And I came back the next day, where a lot of people who didn't come from my environment probably would have never came back, you know? And the thing was, those punches that I had to absorb that day, they probably would still hurt me today the same way they hurt me that day. The only difference is I know how to deal with the hurt now. You know, it's the same thing with the conditioning, you know? The workout's never going to get easier, but you just know how to deal with the conditioning aspect. You know what I mean?
That's 1,000,000% right. And that's the difference between pros versus amateurs. Like, you'll have really skilled amateurs, and then you have really skilled pros. And the difference between those two is one has experiences of what they already dealt with as an amateur going forward. So now whatever they have to deal with, you know, like say if they meet adversity going forward as a professional, they've already seen it several times before. So they understand how to deal with it better. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's 100% right. It makes it this is the kind of thing, in watching these videos and watching what we do, this is the kind of thing that you get from us. You know what I'm saying? Which is it's just so much quality content. You know what I mean? It's experience from people who've actually been there, who've actually had to experience it. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get that from people who may not have done that. But in this type of situation, and what we've done and what we're providing, we've experienced this. So now you're starting to you're getting it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Yeah, man, and you know, it is so crazy you say that too, because, like, for instance, as a fighter, I have no idea what it's like to go through to be in the 8th round, or shit, the 4th round of a fight without headgear, without a shirt. Matter of fact, the first round, you know what I mean? So I don't know what that would feel like to fight in front of a crowd without my shirt on, without a headgear on, you know, with another guy who has nothing to lose, who's getting paid, you know, to try to knock me out, and all those things. And even though I've been in the corner and I've, you know, fought myself as an amateur, and I've done plenty of sparring
with pros,
you know, I still don't know what those things feel like, but you do. And these are the experiences you have. But on the flip side, the experience that I have in the corner, having to keep a guy calm in those situations, having to be able to relay information in those situations, taking a kid who, you know, taking an 8-year-old kid who comes to the corner crying because he just got humbled on in the 1st or 2nd round, and I got to keep him calm in the corner. These are the experience I have, and these are the differences between coaching and fighting. And, between the two of us together, that's why I feel like we have such an advantage when it comes to teaching and giving out information, because it's like I'm giving it from a coaching standpoint, and I work with every kind of fighter you could think of, from children to females to professionals to world champions. And you've been in the ring with damn near every kind of style you could think of as a fighter. So it's crazy, man. And there's things that you just can't teach. There's things that you can only go through it. Like, there might be something that we miss, but if somebody asked us the question, we'll have the answer. We'll have the answer because we've been there. But we might not even remember to teach it because there's just so much to teach.
There's so much information out there. But that's why you need, from you, high level training, and for me, high level fighting. And that's where this that's where this comes together. You know what I'm saying? Damn, man, I think that should be a shirt, man. But anyway, that should be.
Oh, talking about shirts. Yo, I'm bringing back out the Boxing Life shirts. Remember the Boxing Life shirts?
I definitely remember that. I got some.
Yo, I know you got some, but guess what? I'm getting a whole new batch. So people need to go ahead and put them orders in, because I don't know how long they're gonna last, man. Yo, I had everybody in boxing wearing them shirts. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't remember why I stopped making them. To be honest, I just one day.
You know what I think it is, like anybody else, man. You get so caught up doing what you're doing, your craft. You're getting respect as a trainer. So now you're doing this, you're doing that, you're everywhere. You don't have time to think about the merch as much. And I think now you're starting to see how beneficial it was. And everybody likes a Boxing Life shirt. I know I do. So let's get them back out.
Yeah, for sure. So those will be out, guys. Be on the lookout. You can actually pre-order them now on my website. I should be getting my batch this week, so hopefully there'll be some by the time you guys go and you pick them up, the Boxing Life shirts. You know what I mean? And we're gonna go ahead and get Eddie to finally go ahead and make some merch. He's on the process right now, working on some stuff with a couple of designers and stuff. So Eddie Chambers will have his own stuff coming out real soon. So be on the lookout for that. But another topic I wanted to talk about was entitlement, man. And what inspired me to talk about entitlement, on this particular podcast is, for instance, you know me, man, I'm always giving out free information, as much information as we sell. Like, I sell digital downloads. I call them my premium online courses, right? Even though I have a bunch of them that I sell now, I have an abundance that I don't sell. You know what I mean? So I've given out so much free information over the years, and I continue to, and I am going to continue to give out free information, because I don't expect for everybody to buy something from me. You know what I mean? But of course, I'm going to have some premium courses for my loyal subscribers who really, really want to learn and really want to get that in-depth information. Of course, I'm going to have some products for you guys to go ahead and help support us so we can keep this thing going. But honestly, the other day, because I've been posting a lot of my old content from YouTube onto my Instagram now, because a lot of people on Instagram haven't seen a lot of my YouTube material. So I've been, chopping it up, editing up, and I've been shooting it on my Instagram. And I get a lot of comments and a lot of likes and everything on Instagram. So I don't catch everybody's comments. You know what I mean? Some stuff just slips by me. You know what I mean? And so somebody had asked me a question, I guess, more than one time, and I didn't see it. So I had recently posted something, and on the particular post, the person goes ahead and goes, "Look, man, until you answer my previous questions, I'm unfollowing you. And as soon as you answer them again, I'll follow you back." And it just so happened that he sent the message right when I posted my most latest video. So I caught it. You know what I mean? It just happened to hit me right on my feed because I had the phone in my hand. I just uploaded the video. He was like one of the first comments, and I seen what he said. So, I replied to him. You know what I mean? He kind of got under my skin, which, you know what I mean? I didn't really appreciate it. You know what I mean? I said, "Listen, my man," I said, I didn't see, and truthfully, I wasn't ignoring this guy. I really wasn't ignoring this guy out. I genuinely just did not see his previous questions. But I told him, I said, since you're speaking to me that way, I'm not interested in answering your question anymore. You know what I mean? And that was fine. You know what I mean? And I moved on from that. But I told him, The problem with us as human beings is
Right.
entitlement, because he felt entitled that he asked me a question that I'm going to answer it. Now, in reality, I don't ever have to answer anybody's question, as nobody ever has to
Right.
answer
Right.
mine. You know what I
100%.
mean? We do things for people, whether somebody supports me or look, I put out videos for
Yeah.
people to buy. None of my subscribers are supposed to buy my stuff.
Right.
They don't have to. If they don't want to, I don't feel entitled that, oh, you guys better buy my merch. You guys better buy my stuff because I gave away free
No,
YouTube.
no.
If no, that's not how it works. I got people who've been following me for years who've never spent $1 with me, but they love me and they always say positive things. And some people out there probably watching my every move and they're not
Right.
saying anything. They're just
Right.
secretly watching. I don't feel entitled that anything is supposed to be given to me. I am just doing what I'm
Right.
passionate about, and whatever response I
Right.
get, I get. You know what I mean? But what's your
No,
thought on entitlement?
100%. It's like, it's like throwing a punch out there. You expect a punch. Think every punch is going to land? No, that's some degree of entitlement right there.
Right, that's
It's
a good way to put
not
it.
every
That's a
punch is
good way
going to
to put
land,
it.
and and not only that, and when you throw something out, you might get something back. Now, if you feel entitled to that, there you go. But anyway, no, the reality of it is, man, is that I think in general, people expect too much nowadays. Some people want something for nothing. They don't want to put anything out, and they want something. Like, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm not trying to throw any salt in this thing, but he asked a question and he wants an immediate answer from somebody who obviously, to be quite honest, is pretty busy. And there's a lot of people that put out questions, and I see it constantly on the comments. There's 152,000 subscribers out there, and there's a lot of people that ask questions. There's a lot of likes. There's a lot of traffic going through there. So sometimes it's very difficult to see. I mean, there's times when I fought, and I remember fighting, and I would get, I don't know, sometimes 600 messages. You know what I mean, over the course of a week from. Yeah,
You
but
still do. You still do, and you're
that's
not
what I'm
even
saying. And
fighting
I'm talking
anymore.
about on my phone. And I mean, there might be people who were close. My mom could have sent me something, and man, I might not have seen it. Like, I sent you a message, Eddie. Why didn't you send me something back? And it's like, oh, I didn't even know you sent it. It's stuff like that happens. And just in general, man, like, we're even working at a job. Just because you put this amount of time in doesn't mean the job is always going to be there. Maybe they find somebody who's a better situation. You just have to understand what you need to do in your life so that you can take care of those issues. You know what I mean? If you lose your job, whatever the situation may be, but just don't be entitled. If you give somebody something, you lend somebody something. That's why I don't like to lend things to friends or even to people or even to random people. If you ask me for something and I have it, I'm giving it to you. You know what I mean? Because I don't want that entitlement issue to come back to bite me. If I lend money to a friend and then I say, okay, well, I feel like I'm entitled to it back. I guess I'm not really, because if I go back to them, then I might even end up losing that friendship. So it's like, let's just keep all of those things out of the equation. Don't be so entitled. You know what I mean? Try not to think that you deserve something, especially if you really didn't give any quality to start with, and then you expect something quality in return. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's what I mean, man. And it's getting really bad. And I think the real reason I wanted to bring it up was because of the times that
Right.
we're going through, right? So I don't want to get political because religion and politics are two things that you're not supposed to
Right.
talk about, right? But I'm just gonna touch on I'm just gonna touch on maybe a way to think for my people out there who are maybe having some tough times right now dealing with the political issues that are going on, because there's a lot of people who have one view and a lot of people who have the other views. And right now, I don't see too many people in the middle. It kind of seems like a lot of people are either in one
Right.
direction or the other direction, and they can't seem to get along with the other
Mm-hmm.
side, so to speak. And for me, the way I'm looking at it is this: look, man, whether you agree with what's going on or disagree with what's going on, you're in control of your
Mm-hmm.
own situation. And you can get upset with the government. I mean, you can be upset with the government, but you can't let that whatever happens with them
Mm-hmm.
cripple you from whatever you got going on. Like, for instance, right now, the coronavirus is a big deal. A lot of people are getting sick. A lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
dying, unfortunately. And you have a lot of people who want to go back to work and a lot of people who are upset. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
businesses are getting shut down. A lot of people are going through that. A lot of people are staying at home. A lot of people are getting raped. A lot of people becoming alcoholics. A lot of people are living with fear. A lot of people are scared to go outside. A lot of people are dealing with these issues. So you have these people from all different angles, and they all have completely different views on whether the state should stay locked down or whether they should get open up. At the end of the day, you need to control your own destiny. Like you decided to become a vegan. Now, people have been saying that meat has been causing cancer and all this shit for years. You have other people who don't believe that. You have people who believe that meat is actually good for you. You have the keto people who eat keto. Listen, at the end of the day, you choose what you think is the best things for your particular situation, and you work on it for yourself. You do not need to feel entitled. You do not need to let somebody else. Look, this is what kills me about the people who want to stay home, who are upset with everybody who wants to go out. Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but this is what kills me about the situation. If you're home and you're staying home and you're staying safe, you're waiting for the government to say to go outside. Now, the government says, okay, you guys are cool now. You guys can go outside. We're opening the states up. Now, everybody goes back to living a normal life again. And guess what? What do you think? The coronavirus just mysteriously went away because the government said it's okay to go outside? That thing is still lingering around. That thing will still kill you. So at the end of the day, whether they say it's okay to go out or not go out, you need to protect yourself however you feel you need to protect yourself so you don't catch it. You know what I mean? So if the government could tell me tomorrow, hey, man, everything back to normal. You go to the barbershops again. You go to the gyms again. I might not go. I might stay my ass home. I might say, nope, you know what? I got me a bench at home. I got me, it's beautiful outside. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to jump rope out, get some sun. I'm not going to a gym for the rest of the year. That's my personal choice. Now, even if the gyms are open, that doesn't mean I have to go to them. You know what I'm saying? But these people feel like, you know, it's like they're just looking for somebody to blame. Make your own decisions on what you feel is right. Don't complain. You know, there's a guy by the name of Mr. Campbell who of course you know Mr. Campbell, but he's one of my older guys. He's 72 years old, I think. And you know, tell the world how he'll still get in the ring.
Yo, when he gets in there with some young kids, man, and some, you know, I say young kids, but guys in their 20s, some of these guys in their, you know, in teenage kids coming in there, jumping in, they can't lay a glove on him. Man's 72 and he looks like he's in his 40s. And this is no cap. There's no bull crap.
Exactly.
And this guy he is completely the quintessential version of what you say when you see someone handling their own destiny. He is doing he's doing what he has to do. And I just hope that when I'm 72, I'm still able to move around like that.
And let me tell you something. I'll tell you what he says. He tells me, Anthony, it's not about what happens to you. When something happens to you, don't say why me. Say how. Say how. And that was one of the best things he ever told me. If something happens to you, don't say why me. How do I deal with this? How do I fix this? What is the solution? Now, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes there is no solution other than the worst case scenario. And that's unfortunate. And guess what? At some point or another, it's going to happen to all of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just, you know, an unfortunate circumstance when things happen sooner than later. But, you know, at the end of the day, none of us are leaving this place alive.
Right.
You
try
know
to get done what we can while we're here and not let anything, even if something as crazy as this, hold you back from doing whatever it is that you love to do or you need to do before you out of here. That's an important thing.
Right, man. Yeah, man, it's serious, man. So, you know, I just wanted to get that off my chest because, it's rough out there and trust me, it's scary, man. Look, I'll be lying to you listen, I don't train people right now. I'm not holding mitts for people right now. Some of my best clients in the world, I stopped holding mitts for as of recently because of this situation. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm just living life and doing whatever I want to do. I'm sacrificing, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I'm not blaming nobody. It is what it is. You know, I never had an advantage from the very beginning. So, you know, I always had to figure out a way. So, you know, I just think that too many people feel entitled. People are getting soft out there. It's time for us to toughen up a little bit and, you know, and take a little bit more control into our own hands, especially if you're involved in the sport of boxing. This is why this message might hurt some people's feelings. But at the same time, if you want to be in boxing,
Yes.
you better get used to hurt. You better
Physical.
get used to pain. You better get used to somebody. You better get used to somebody telling you something you don't want to hear. You better get used to it because I tell you what, your coach can
Mm-hmm.
tell you everything you want to hear. Your
Mm-hmm.
mom can tell you everything you want to hear. But you know who might tell you something you don't want to hear? The
Yes.
goddamn
1
judges when
million.
they give it to the other
Yo.
guy. So at the end of the day, somebody might give you
Yep.
something you don't want to hear in this sport at some point or
That
another.
high,
So you better be
that
ready
high
for
dose
that.
of
You know what I mean?
reality.
If you
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? One day you're gonna be hitting the heavy bag with a combination. You're gonna think you look like Floyd Mayweather. You know what has gonna happen? You're gonna tell your coach to come look at you, and your coach is gonna say that shit looked terrible. What the fuck is that? And you're gonna
Sound like
sit
my
there and
dad.
you're gonna feel like somebody gonna take a
Yeah,
knife and
no doubt,
stab
no
you in the
doubt.
heart with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you thought you were doing it right, and in
Yep.
reality, you still didn't do it right. So this is the hurt business, and I figure anybody who's listening to this, you know what I mean, can handle a real message like this. And if you can't, then you need to work on that, and you need to practice that. And you
Mm-hmm.
need to get a little thicker skin because it's real out here, man. And it's real in the ring, and it's real. This whole
No
game
doubt,
we in
no
is
doubt
real.
about
You
it.
feel me?
100%. You know, and you gotta get used to hearing things that you don't want to hear. Trust me, I heard plenty. And once you get past that point and you're able to get through it, you got the resilient. You're resilient enough to get through it. Then maybe you do have it what it takes to be a champion or at least a high level fighter.
Right, right. And so let's end this. Let's end this. Let's end this off with what's been going on with these old heads who's been
Yeah,
trying to get
yeah,
back into boxing. So now I'm seeing Holyfield in the mix. I know we talked
yeah,
about this a little bit the last time, but this seems to be
yeah.
like the hottest topic right now since
Right.
boxing is not a thing at the moment. You got Shannon Briggs, man. Looks like he might be getting the exhibition with Mike
Yeah,
Tyson.
yeah.
You know, we're both cool with Shannon. You know what's crazy? So I was on the phone with Shannon
Oh
Briggs
yeah, you was talking to Shannon?
3 days ago, and yes, I was talking to Shannon, right? So I brought your name up. I was like, yo, Shannon, you might get the fight with Mike Tyson. And he was like, yeah, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the fight, 5 rounds, whatever,
What's up?
exhibition, whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's what's up, Shannon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope he gets it. You know what I mean? And I was like, what's up with Eddie, man? You think Eddie Chambers can get in the mix, man? Maybe,
What'd he
get
say?
in there? You know what he told me? He said, man, ain't nobody fighting fucking Eddie Chambers. He said, I ain't fighting no goddamn Eddie Chambers. Do I look like I'm stupid? He was like, ain't nobody over the age of 40 fighting no goddamn Eddie
Making me laugh, man.
Chambers. So you might have to look for a
No,
different
no, no.
opponent. You're
You
not
know
gonna
what?
get that
When I
Mike
look at that,
Tyson.
I look at that as like, I don't want to say the old folks home because I feel like these dudes, even though they're older up in age, they'll knock a lot of these dudes' socks off even right now. But the reality is, if you got a real guy that's getting in there and opposing them, and that's why even looking at Shannon, like Shannon's older, but Shannon's still a little bit of this era. Like a lot of people know who he is. He's still a live dog. Like he can literally get in there and probably knock a few of these dudes out because we all know that dude can punch. So I mean, you look at Mike, you look at Holyfield. These are some of the greatest fighters of all time. But I mean, even though they look great hitting the pads, hitting the bag and stuff like that, it's a little different when you get a guy in front of you. And they haven't been in there in such a long time. You don't know what might happen. Now, them against each other, maybe. Maybe it's interesting. It's fun to watch.
I'm gonna be honest, though. I'm gonna be honest, man. Holyfield
Hey,
don't look like
hey,
he need to be
hey.
doing this, man. I'm gonna tell you what,
Hey,
Mike Tyson looked good.
oh yeah.
Shannon Briggs' body, you know what I mean? Pause.
Yeah,
He's
no
still
doubt.
in shape. He still
Right.
take care of himself. You know what I'm saying? Shannon
Yeah,
looked like I don't see him
yeah,
sparring here and
yeah,
there, hurting guys in the gym. But Holyfield, and no disrespect to Holyfield, one of the all-time
yeah,
greats, probably the
yeah.
best resume. You know what I mean? Honestly, man, I don't think he should be doing this, man. I mean, unless it's gonna
Mm.
be a super light exhibition, but he doesn't look like he's kept up with his body and his I don't know about his body, but it
Right.
doesn't look like he took the most wear and tear
Well, you got
out
to
of
think,
those
man,
what it
Holyfield,
looks like.
and this is real. And the same thing with Mike. I mean, don't get me wrong; these guys all face the best, but man, it was like one after another for Evander, man. And he's fighting. I mean, like I said, they both were fighting monsters, but I mean, it was one after another after another. And Evander, And Evander wasn't knocking dudes out in 30 seconds a lot, like a lot of the time, like Mike was doing. So he was dealing with this wear and tear. These dudes, man, punching on his body. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that he's showing the effects of it. I mean, what he's above 50. You know what I mean? And he's still trying to throw punches. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was just kind of taking it light in the gym that day, but who knows? But he's a warrior. One thing is for sure: when that bell rings, he's gonna be in there.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. And that's gonna be
No
like a
doubt.
switch that gets just cut on as soon as he gets nervous. Listen, I remember when
my
Evander
gosh.
Holyfield fought
Yes.
James Toney. And when he fought James Toney, I didn't know who to give that fight to going in. I think I was leaning
me
toward
too. I wanted to
Evander
see James
just
win,
a little
but
bit.
And you know what's the funniest thing? At first,
And you know what?
man.
He came out so strong. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was gonna lose. And then, but then James Toney just started to show the craft. And honestly, man, I don't know if Evander can beat James. Prime for prime. You know, I really don't think. I think that James prime for prime might win that fight again. You know, it's just he showed how he was able to slide and roll with the punches, and he made the adjustments. And Toney just seems like a guy with like a iron jaw. Like he just seems built.
Iron jaw, iron will.
Punches,
he just don't care, man. He's just in there. You know what I mean? No matter whether James could be 600 pounds and fat, he's still gonna be trying to shoulder roll and counter with the quick hands. That's just the way he is. You know what I'm saying? And he just was born for that. That's what made me really love James Toney. You know, his style and the way he fights. You know what I mean? But when I first seen, I'm gonna say I was supporting Evander. I wanted to see Evander win that thing because I've always been. That's one of my favorite heavyweights of all time to watch is Evander Holyfield, warrior. He was in so many great fights, but the one I watched and when I really started to understand boxing at that level, when I started to watch James Toney, I was like, yo, James is that dude. Skill wise, man, you could put him next to anybody.
No. Now let me ask you a question about that real quick though, because I wanted to touch on this because I've worked your corner many times in the gym, you know, and I've seen you do so many similar tactics that a guy like James told. Like I've seen you shoulder roll, bend the waist, basically use the Philly shell to perfection. You know, do everything that we teach in the instructionals. I've seen you do it to very high quality guys. But when I go to your professional fights before me and you became friends, and before I, actually became your coach at one point, I see you fighting a totally different style. Both hands super high. You know, you still got the reflexes of a cat because that's just your natural thing, but you don't do the things that I've seen you do in the gym. What changes when you get into the ring where you're like, I'm not trying that stuff. I'm going to keep the hands up high. And, why is it that I feel like you limit yourself when you have so many other tools that I know you can do that I haven't seen you actually do, other than when you fought Thomas Adamak. And in that fight, you did everything, and you did it with one hand, might I add. And maybe a few other fights along the way that I might be missing.
100%.
You do know what I'm talking about.
Dimitrenko, the fight I had with him was another fight that I kind of done, a lot of the extra things. I don't want to say a lot, but some of the extra things, but my hands were still high. The real reason, though, man, is you got to think. When you looking at these big guys punching down on you, shoulder rolls and stuff like that are cool. But if you make one little mistake and you have one of these 6'7" guys launching a big right hand over the top of your shoulder and they still graze the top of your head, like if you look at, a la the Klitschko situation when he caught me with that hook. And it's like, you don't want to take those chances if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to try it and it's cool to be, even make these moves and all that stuff. But when you get into a high pressure situation, a real situation where these guys can land those types of shots, and remember, these guys are not my size. It's like when you see, guys in there like, the lighter weight guys in their shoulder rolling and doing a lot of that stuff, it's a little bit different there because the shots the range is a little different. You know what I mean? It's hard to box a 6'7" guy from the outside being 6'1". You can kind of do it. You can try at spots, but at the end of the day, you got to get close enough to land your shots. And if they're not making a mistake of launching long shots at a range that that they shouldn't be, then it's going to be hard for you to make those moves. So the best plan of action is to keep your hand hands in the place where they can be effective defensively, and then you can fight off of that. And that's what I was doing. You know what I mean? I still use a lot of head movement. Like if you watch the Dimitrenko fight, there was a lot of head movement with that. I made, some turns, some pivots and stuff like that too. But at the end of the day, it was more not necessarily directly in front of him, but I gave him targets in the front, and I take.
All right, guys. So if you guys stuck around with us, you guys are in for a treat because we're going to play a little game. All right, Eddie, you ready for this?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, so there's a little game we're going to play. So basically, guys, you guys can do this along with us, but I'm basically going to go ahead and I'm going to throw different shots at Eddie. You know what I mean? He's going to have to visualize this, of course. And I'm going to throw different shots. Eddie, you're going to have to defend and counter the shots, all right? I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can go ahead and let them go. And we're just going to move along. So you got to think quick, just like you in a fight, all right?
No doubt.
All right, cool. So I just threw a jab at you. What you going to do?
Rock off right hand, inside slip, left hook, maybe inside slip, left hook upstairs, left hook to the body, stuff like that.
Okay. All right, I just threw a right hand at you. What are you going to do?
Shoulder roll right hand, maybe catch it with the left hand, right hand, or slip it over, maybe go to the body off the right hand, off of your right hand, throwing me. Left hook to the body, sorry.
I just threw a left hook at your head. What are you going to do?
Catch and throw mine, roll it, pivot, throw mine, or catch yours up top, drop mine to the body.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that last one. It's like a Canelo move right there.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right, we on the inside. I just threw a right uppercut at you. What are you going to do?
Either stay straight, let the shots fly in front of me, drop a right hand, or slip over. Like you can kind of turn your body slightly and maybe catch it, drop the right hand to the body. You know what I mean? Really not a lot of unnecessary things you could do. I mean, not unnecessary. A lot of things you can do in that situation. It's just, just basically defending it. Or check this. You can even make believe like you're going to stay close, pull off, and check them as that shot's coming up. That's another one that you can do.
I was waiting for that one. That's the one that I was thinking about the most.
Yeah. I was thinking about that before, but I kind of like, but no, that's actually a good one. Check them and let that thing slide right up in the air.
All right, cool, man. That's good. All right, people. So we're going to leave it right there. You guys got a few pointers on what you could do if someone throws a jab, across, a hook, or an uppercut at you. We're going to do this all the time, man. We're going to have fun with this. We're going to build on that. And and a lot of those moves are actually on our set traps and counterpunch if you guys don't got that. You know what I mean? And even on the angles and the 150 combinations and all the different stuff, a lot of this stuff we cover it already. So make sure you guys check out the digital downloads on the website. And make sure you follow Fast Eddie Chambers on Instagram at Fast Eddie Chambers and follow me at Coach Anthony. And that's it, man. And I appreciate the love and support, Eddie. All right, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir, my man.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Sky. Hey, yo, Coach, you my Sky for life, you hear me? Coach, you know how they do me. I mean, they trying to do me something out here. Do I? Yeah. You know me. For my Sky. We don't focus on who may hate. Close your eyes, admit works sound like an AK. Always kept the circle sharp like a Beyblade. Remain great and act deaf to the naysayers. I control the mode like I'm coaching. Pro stamps, you haters ain't got no chance. Trained so many champs throughout this whole camp. But you can't take a risk if you got no hands. Let's go. Cap to the back, then we all snap. Coach gave that call to this New York cat. Got my weight up, it's sometimes like a Snorlax. Had to answer that call back till we on, I don't hold back. I create the lane like I'm coaching. Stay ahead of the game like I'm coaching. Haters try to stop us, they got no chance. Go champ, got me feeling like coaching. I create the lane like I'm coaching. Stay ahead of the game like I'm coaching. Haters try to stop us, they got no chance. Go champ, got me feeling like coaching. Everybody giving props to the fighter. Different cloth, I show love to the designer. To move forward, need an OG beside you. You better by your side than someone that been through the fire. Where I'm from, we pay respect to the OGs. No fees, we paying dues in them cold streets. I learned it's better to get better with a whole team. See, I'm a fighter in different ways, got a bold dream. Hot head was never made to have cold feet. If coach teach, I kept control of the old me. Show things I learned from the gram in the whole week. And coach is the reason why my brother didn't go weak. I can see how God used you to control peace. I can see how God used you to control peace. If life takes a hit, then learn how to slip. Whole mix, them hands go wolf like a whole clip. Whoa. I create the lane like I'm coaching. Stay ahead of the game like I'm coaching. Haters try to stop us, they got no chance. Coach champ, got me feeling like coaching. I create the lane like I'm coaching. Stay ahead of the game like I'm coaching. Haters try to stop us, they got no chance. Go champ, got me feeling like coaching. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? I had to talk that talk. I mean, they try to do me something, you hear me? Yeah. New Y, what's up? VA, what's up? VA, what's up? Yeah. For my sky. Feel like coaching right quick, you hear me? Yeah.
What's going on, guys? I had to create this, right? Heavy back conditioning drills. Set and work. We're actually giving you different exercises that you can do on different days. This is one of the best ways to get into boxing shape. True body shots.
This drill is like one of the first ones we used to do and really get the engine rep.
This is actually a great thing for anybody who wants to get the most out of their boxing exercise. So let's get started.